Hi guys, Caller here, bringing you set 2 of the round 2 matchup between Skew and Nyoken. And Skew has won the first game, so this is a must-win game for Nyoken. By the way, we do have Nyoken spawning in yellow here at the 12 o'clock position, and we have Skew spawning in orange at the 6 o'clock position. This map is World Cyber Games Gaia, and I do love Gaia's map. It's just a very fun positional map. And since they spawn at different sides of the middle bridge here, each will basically have one diagonal half of the map between themselves. There is only one bridge leading between these two halves, and basically this is going to turn out, I think, to be a very long macro game. It definitely has a tendency to be so, just like a lot of Terran vs. Terran games do have a tendency to become very long. And basically what I'm going to be looking for here is more dropship play, certainly, than in last game. Although Nyoken went for a lot more dropships than Skew did, I feel. Skew definitely had a few, but he didn't use them as much. Nyoken did have more dropships, but Skew managed to just walk around on land because Python is so open of a map and stop any of Nyoken's attacks fairly efficiently, and also shut down Nyoken's expansions in the first game. And we have to go on fastest here. But since in Gaia there is only one choke point in the center, basically both sides I predict will have their siege tanks in a line in the middle, basically a no man's line, kind of a trench warfare there, and so they're going to need those dropships to get some mobility here and to make a breakthrough. We're seeing Nyoken here building his supply depot in this base. Looks like Skew's doing the same, so no early barracks cheese or anything like that from either player. And on a map like this, really a 4-player map, I don't expect any kind of cheese here, just because it would be very difficult to pull off if your scouting is wrong at all. But I could be wrong, of course. Skew actually putting down his barracks at his front door here, making a little bit of a choke point, now sending out a scouting SCV. And same build here from Nyoken, and Nyoken getting his gas. Skew actually not getting his gas just yet. This is kind of interesting. Actually, I think this is just a slightly different flavor of a build. Nyoken will be able to get perhaps 1 or 2 more Marines, and Skew is going to get his factory pretty much at the same time, a little bit slower in his factory timing maybe, but he's going to have a little bit better of an SCV count. Skew now going for a scout. Nyoken has not gone for a scout yet. Another big difference in Game 1, of course, was that Nyoken went for a 2-factory build, whereas Skew went 1 factory into Command Center, and Nyoken just didn't go out for the attack early enough, I felt he needed to get some vultures, actually, instead of going for mass tanks, and by the time he got the tank push onto Nyoken's front, onto Skew's front, Skew already had 3 or 4 tanks with siege mode, and Nyoken just was unable to push in. I feel that if he was going to go 2 factories with 2 machine shops, the standard build is to get vulture speed and vulture mines, and even if your opponent has 1 or 2 tanks at that point, you can get up his ramp using the mines and then cause a lot of havoc among the SCV lines. Although this is sort of more of the Korean standard is to go for that. I'm not sure if foreigners go for that as much. Like I said, I'm not that familiar with foreigner builds. I mean, the main difference, I think, is, well, it's a stylistic difference and perhaps also a control difference. Because Koreans do have a little bit superior control, I mean, they do practice 10 hours a day, they can pull off some builds that are not so common among foreigners. Both players getting the factories up at the same time, going for the standard Terran build here. 1 Marine is going to stop the scouting SCV from Skew. And Nyoken still has yet to get inside of Skew's base, so Skew could safely go for something like a 2-factory build or even a fast starport here, although I don't think he'll be doing that. He seems very comfortable with a heavy macro build here, going for his fast expansions, because Nyoken just won't have a scout. He won't have any idea what Skew's doing, and information, of course, is everything here. Looks like Nyoken is getting his machine shop, so he's probably, I'm going to guess he's going to go for a fast expand here. On this map, I think both players should go for a fast expand, basically, because they are so far apart, and it's so hard to get across the land map here. They're basically across positions here, and getting your expansion is just going to be the smarter play here. Looks like Skew just saving up for those 400 minerals, and he's probably going to plant his command center. Well, not yet. Guess he's decided to build something first. First tank coming out for Skew also, for Nyoken also, so Nyoken also going for another tank before he builds his command center. Floating barracks are going to pass in the night here, and SCV scouts also being sent out. Now Skew has planted his command center. He's going to get his first tank a little bit later, but no problem there. Look at this. Nyoken's decided to not go for an expansion. I was wrong about that. He's gone for a starport with control tower here, and I think he's going to be going for cloak rates here. That's right, Nyoken's going for cloak rates, and this could be a very short game here if Skew doesn't scout this out. He could be in very big trouble here. I think Nyoken knows by now that Skew's gone for the fast expand, and the fast expand is vulnerable against the fast tech, like what Skew's doing here, what Nyoken's doing here. He's going to be getting those rates out. It'll be important I think it'll be important for him not to show his hand immediately. I think it'll be good if he waits until he gets 2 or 3 rates and then pushes out and then pulls off a very strong grass, although he might not have time to do that because this floating barracks is coming up. I actually don't know whether Nyoken has been spotted here by Skew's floating barracks. I'm going to check it out actually. This is Skew's first person view, and Skew has not spouted out his starport. I don't know why he's moving back towards the center here. I think he should have gone for the main and checked out the tech there first. But he's not going to have any idea this is coming, and he doesn't have anything right now to deal with it. He's just pumping factories right now. Perhaps he's trying to set up a defense against a 2-factory push, which is what Nyoken attempted in the first game. Actually, he does have an army set up and an academy going up, so he's playing it very safe here, Skew is, and this is going to be very smart. This is a very smart push, because he is in the dark here. He's not going to have any idea whether raids or dropships are coming, and so he's getting himself ready for cloak raids, the worst case scenario, sort of. So if he gets his comm set up and 1 or 2 Goliaths, this push will not be successful. Skew now going forward, looks like with 2 raids here. I don't think he's been spotted yet. Nyoken, sorry, going forward with 2 raids. I don't know why I'm getting them mixed up, but first Goliath has come out for Skew, so I don't think these raids are going to be very effective at all. And really, Nyoken is going to be very much behind if this push fails, which I think it will. And he needs to run now. I don't think Cloak is finished. Cloak is just finished right now, but he's going to wait until he can get into a good position. He basically has 1 or 2 chances to attack with these Cloak raids before these just become completely neutralized. It looks like he's going to go for an attack on the floating barracks now, and he stopped production of the raids because he's realized that he's going to have to fight a ground battle here. These raids just aren't going to be that effective. And scan goes up on these raids. Wow. Oops, looks like Skew didn't attack when the scan came off. Now he's going to attack, but these raids will survive, for now at least. And since Skew has those 2 command centers, he's going to have 2 comm sets out, and he's going to be scanning like a madman, and these 2 raids just aren't going to cut it. Meanwhile, though, Nyoken has brought up his tanks to support, and yet he's still just fighting over this 1 barracks here. Scan going off once again, and looks like, coming close to picking off one of these. It will pick off one of these raids. But looks like the barracks finally dies, and now Nyoken once again going for the tank push, but once again Skew has sufficient numbers of tanks to defeat it, I think. Upgrading Charon also in case there's going for, in case Skew's going to continue, Nyoken's going to continue with the raid production, and Skew making a little push here with his SCVs, using his SCVs to take damage while his tanks push up and unsiege, and looks like he's going to pick off this entire attack force. Great micro by Skew here, absolutely great micro, picking off all the tanks, I think. Yeah, he's going to pick up all the tanks and that raid from Nyoken. Now Nyoken's back to square one, basically. He's going to have to build his secondary much slower than Skew did, and Skew just showing himself to be absolutely just so precise in his turn versus turn play. I'm very surprised considering Nyoken did so well last year in the 07 USA finals with his turn versus turn skill. I'm surprised that Skew is doing so well against him. And Skew now taking the opportunity to build another expansion here at the right side of the map. Knowing that he's ahead in terms of unit count, and of course ahead in resources also. He's gotten this expansion a full 3 or 4 minutes before Nyoken did. Nyoken now trying to balance things up by getting expansion of his own at the left side of the map. Looks like both players will be content to stay in a defensive position for now, but look at the food difference, 44 versus 54 here, and a lot more SCVs, of course, for Skew now. And Skew actually, looks like he lost his barracks in the process. I was going to say, I'm a little surprised he didn't have more factories up, but he is going to get his first dropship out. And looks like both players lost their barracks in that attack, and wow, look at this, I'm sorry, I was going to say only 1 factory, but, you know, peekaboo, here's the rest of the factories, 3 factories up for Nyoken, so he's okay in terms of his macro. And a task force going towards the left here, I'm not sure how, probably with the scan, Skew spotted that expansion on the left side. Nyoken's desperately trying to defend here, but his siege tanks aren't going to be on the low ground here, and there's no way they're going to be able to save this expansion. He's going to have to cancel this, and he actually should cancel it before it finishes, I believe. Although he might be able to save it. No, he's not going to. He's going to cancel it right before it finishes. So luckily for him, it didn't finish, so he's going to be able to save 300 minerals at least. But Nyoken just taking a severe beating here so far. Skew in the lead, far in the lead now in terms of his resources. Pumping out 3 bases here. And getting 4 factories left total. I feel he can support up to 6 right now. Engineering bank going up also. And Nyoken unable to even break this little bit of a contain here. Wow. Skew is just on top of his tank versus tank warfare. Tank versus tank, of course, if you have 2 siege lines and you're trying to advance your siege lines, what you want to do is be able to inch forward until you're within striking range, but you're outside of siege tank vision range, and then you want to be the one who gets the first scan off, or the first vision off. Basically, you can send forward a unit or a floating building, and you can also get vision that way, or you can scan. And what happens is you'll have the first strike capability, and you'll be able to pick off 1 or 2 tanks before your opponent can react. And Skew, I have to say, has just been superior in that respect against Nyoken. Nyoken now has his force in the middle, but I think he might get pincered here between these 2 forces of Skew's, and he's going to lose another army, I feel. Skew already with 3 dropships out, although they're unloaded right now. He's probably going to start loading up very soon, and Nyoken has this little bit of a measly 4 tank force here in the middle of the map, and that's not a comfortable position at all. And it seems that he's actually pushing out a lot of SCVs to try to break these 2 tanks at least. And he's going to do that. He's going to lose a couple of SCVs in the process, but now they're going to comfortably take out these 2 tanks. Yeah, those 2 tanks go down. But still, this small force here of 5 tanks is only going to be able to hold the bridge in the center. By the way, they are on the bridge here, at the land bridge between the 2 bases. I don't think Nyoken is going to be able to do any damage, though, to Skew. Nyoken has gotten the base at the lower left, though. It seems that he's just going to be worrying about gas for now, which is a smart idea. Skew could set up for another, and he actually has set up for a 3rd expansion here at the right side, upper right side. He could set up for a 4th even, quite easily. And Skew now getting his macro production up. 6 factories already down for him. And really, Skew is just basically in a commanding lead here, and also in the lead in the series so far. So Skew could take this game fairly easily, I feel. Getting +1 upgrade also for his weapons. And Skew's gone for a big drop inside of Nyoken's base here, going for those dropships, planting inside of there. And wow, he might not be able to do that much damage, but certainly he's going to wipe out part of the army and part of the SCV force here from Nyoken. Actually, I don't think he did that much damage. He did siege some of these SCVs though. And even with the loss of that drop, Skew is still way ahead in terms of his unit count. I don't believe he lost many of his dropships. No, I don't think he lost any of his dropships, in fact. And he's setting up for another drop here. Nyoken smartly setting up a ring of missile turrets at the southern base here, knowing that that Skew has those dropships out. He has that mobility advantage right now. Just take a look at the resources each is taking, and look at Skew's resources. He's got 2,300 resources per minute versus 1,300 resources per minute from Nyoken, and Skew's gone for a drop at the lower left. Just look at the disparity in forces: 12 glides, 3 dropships, 6 tanks versus just just the Goliath tank force here from Nyoken, and Skew once again picking off another command center. And wow, I should have noted also double the number of SCVs for Skew as for Nyoken. And Skew can lose his force quite comfortably because he's managed to stop another time the 3rd expansion gone up. And this is a story of the first 2 games here. Basically, both games, Nyoken's just unable to get that 3rd base up even, whereas Skew has just taken over as many bases as he wishes, as his little heart desires, and basically he's just strangulating Nyoken to death, forcing him to starve to death. And there's nothing Nyoken can do, because on this map, Skew has the dropship advantage. As I was saying before, you need those dropships to get mobility, because you just can't walk around the middle here. There's just no way you can walk across the middle very easily. Although, just as I say that, Skew's going to try doing that right now. But it looks like he's actually going to retreat. And I don't think Nyoken has any dropships at all. He's not even bothering producing them, probably because he's so far behind in terms of the resources, he can't afford them. And Nyoken going for, Skew going for another drop here at the lower right, lower left. I don't know what he's going for though. The command center's already dead. Maybe he's just trying to trap his army as it retreats. Or just to finish off the buildings here, perhaps. But regardless, he's going to take this battle here. And I feel that really there's not too much Nyoken can do at this deficit. Double the food count for Skew, and in Terran versus Terran, you just cannot have that. I mean, maybe if you're a Terran versus Zerg, well, I don't know, Terran versus Zerg and your name is Flash, maybe you can come back from that deficit, but Terran versus Terran, you can't come back from that deficit. There is no way. And unfortunately for Nyoken, he played very well in these 2 games, but Skew just played so much better. I mean, he played with the right strategies in both maps. In the first game, he won for the fast expand instead of going for the 2 racks. He went for more of a ground force in the first game, and Nyoken went for the dropships, but those dropships weren't that effective because Skew just had a larger ground force. In this game, Skew switched it up, and he went for the dropships this time, and those were very effective in this map. So he played the maps well, basically, is my point. And Skew now going for another surgical dropships. Look at how good his dropships have been so far. His dropship play, picking off command centers, picking off units and armies, and just now going for another drop in the main here. Nyoken doesn't have any forces around to defend, and he's sieging up, probably going to try to take down these factories here. And he, once again, Nyoken's forced to pull off his SCVs here to defend. He's got another force coming in, but he's going to lose a lot of them entering this area here. Yeah, just ravaging the main base here of Nyoken. And although these attacks on the main haven't been that successful, he's already lost so many SCVs. He's killing off SCVs, he's killing off forces, and just keeping Nyoken's unit count very low. And at this point, he can afford 1-to-1 losses. I mean, basically, he has a larger army, so 1-to-1 losses is absolutely fine for Skew at this point. And Skew with another army here on the left, still alive, and able to threaten this expansion at the left side here. And I feel that basically what Nyoken's going to have to do is go for a last-ditch push here, perhaps do some damage to Skew's, take down one of Skew's expansions. But Skew has sensed this coming, and Skew is just absolute precision, loading up his, unloading his dropships and sieging up his tanks. And Nyoken is just unable to proceed here against this huge tank force here. I don't think he's going to win if he tries to walk across there. And yeah, Skew has once again held the bridge in the middle, and Nyoken's main problem in this game, I think, was his lack of dropships. Finally, now he's gotten some dropships up, but this is just too little too late. Skew's just got such a large economic advantage. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases total against 3, and double the food count. Nyoken now trying to do a slow push forward, like I was saying, scanning his way forward, but Skew is just going to, wow, look at all his dropships full. He's just going to drop on top of these units and just take them down. And meanwhile, he's gone for attack on the left side. He's going to break the left expansion once again, just limiting the number of expansions. And look at that, even before Skew gets his drop off, Nyoken has GG. So I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary. Skew takes this game 2-0, and he will go on to face the winner of the losers match, which someone else would commentate, I believe, next. And I think the losers match will be between Nyoken and Artosis, if I'm correct. Alright guys, thanks for watching guys. This is Collar signing off.